Yeah, and you don't throw a fit.
Right. You get what you get. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Ashley Abraham.
And I'm Connie Smack.
And together we are the Michigan Medium Angels. And today is day 40 of the quarantine that we've been videoing. And we have, like I said before, we have done other videos too. But today's video is going to be on the 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So I think that's the last name. What I was saying earlier though was that you get what you get. Okay, I didn't have time to curl my hair. So, and we've got some dark words that are coming in. Okay, everybody is in the same boat right now.
You look gorgeous. You look gorgeous. As ever.
Thank you.
Goddess energies kicking.
Woo! My gold and silver, right? Energy. My chair is gold. Okay. All right. We'll move on. That's not this video.
That was yesterday's video, which is funny because we had there's so much to say on these subjects that it's hard to keep them so short because we were just talking about that. It's just, we could go on and on about colors. Like right before this video started, I said, oh my gosh, I didn't say like the biggest thing is black is for psychic protection, or even gold is high priestess. Like we didn't, but that's okay. You know, we can only say so much and get in what we can. So that's what we'll do. So we're going to touch briefly. I know there's a lot more to these 4 agreements, but we're going to touch briefly on each one just to give, it's a good reminder for everyone. And they're so easy and yet they're so hard to do. Seriously. So like the first one, be impeccable with your word. I try to work on that all the time because I am famous for wanting to do the world. And I think that I can do 100 things in a day. So I'll be like, yes, I can do that. Yes, I can do that. Yeah, I want to do that. It's not that I don't want to. I want to do the things. So it's not like I'm intending to manipulate or anything like that, but that's not being impeccable with my word because at the end of the day, I'm not able to do all that stuff. So then I may feel like I let people down. So it lowers your vibration because then you're feeling guilty for not, what's the word?
Honoring.
Not being impeccable with my word. And you taught me a lot with that. And so did Nancy. Both you two are always on me you are really good about saying and teaching me to say, let me think about that. Let me think about that. And then I'll get back to you and not responding right away. And of course, Nancy's always on me for not filling up my schedule, which will help me to be impeccable with my word. Now, obviously there's more to that. The basis is your word has a vibration just like your thoughts do. So whatever words you're speaking, whatever energy you're giving off, that's what you're going to get back. So if you are saying negative things, if you're gossiping about other people, if you're talking poorly about other people, or even thinking them, you're going to get that back. So there's like I said, there is a lot to each one of these. But it really is about having integrity with your words and your thoughts and your actions and having them be aligned with love. Go ahead, Twink. I know you want to say something. Go on.
I do. This is so, I know.
Scared me. Sorry.
That's okay. No, that's all right. This is real life, right? This is real life. We're in quarantine and, right? So yeah, we've got the dogs, we've got the doorbell. That's all good. No, this one is really what do you need? Do you want me to pause?
Maybe not. I may have to, but go ahead. I think someone's at the door.
Okay. Before we move on, actually, I'm a little bit stuck on this. What does your shirt say?
Okay. It says, I give good chi. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. So Stephanie's a graphic artist, an amazing one. She actually did my mom's book. Okay. The cover, my mom wrote a book, which we talked about before, which is funny. I know we're going to get I'll talk fast so we can get back to the subject.
That's okay. It's okay.
So my mom wrote a book and Nancy created a cover quickly so we could just get it uploaded for her because that was her dream. Because she, 30 years ago, she wrote this book. It's about vampires. It's a great one. It's actually fun. It's uplifting. It's not what you think. It's not, doom and gloom and gore. It's funny. It's romantic. It's an action. There's stuff about magic in there. So anyway, we did the book quickly to get it up there for my mom because she's in, not the greatest health right now, and we want her to be healthy and Plus I want to do it for her because she put so much time and energy into this, and it's amazing. It's a great book. It's just sitting there collecting dust. So got it up, got it going, and then we decided we went to change the cover and her name as far as the author, because she had a pseudo name, but she wants to use her name now. So Stephanie recreated what we already had, which was already a good one that Nancy did, and Stephanie just made it, amazing too, and added to it. It's really cool. So we're waiting for it to be approved. So as soon as it's approved, it will be up there. So I had a thought years ago to start a business with all t-shirts involving good energy, chi. So I had funny sayings around them. So this was my signature one, is I give good chi. And so Steph did the design on it. And so it's obviously, kind of it's kind of funny because it can have multiple meanings, but the hands with I give good. Yeah. I was actually walking down, I wore this years ago at a Tigers game. I was walking down the street and this guy literally stopped and he goes, "You give good what?" And all of a sudden he started cracking up laughing. He's like, "That is the best shirt ever." But it is I give good chi. That's what it is. That's what it's supposed to be. The hand, see. Anyway, that's my long-winded version. Go ahead, Twink, of what the shirt is. And we know what. Sorry, but we still have those t-shirts. So Steph and I should put them on my website. And yeah, because we have them. We have them already printed. We've had them for years. We just really never kind of did anything with it because I was doing the other business and she was busy. We both were busy. So yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's really cute. Okay. Yeah. So you'll have to get that up there.
Yeah. Anyway.
So the one story that I wanted to share about being impeccable with your word, it's a little bit personal, but it goes to, I feel like it's an important story to share. And I know that my sister wouldn't mind if I shared this. So when she was younger, she used to tell a lot of white lies. And one day I had enough, and she told me, like, we talk about this later on, we would talk about it and how this actually really helped her. And I remember saying to her, "I don't believe you." And she was so mad at me. Like, she was like, "But I'm telling the truth." And I've said, "You've lied so many times. I don't believe you." And she, like, seriously. And here's the thing about this is that it literally changed her. And she realized that she needed to change what she was doing. Because I said, "You're lying about things you don't even need to lie about." And she kept trying to insist that she wasn't, but I knew she was. And I didn't believe her, even if she was telling the truth. So it really did shift her from that point forward to start to really pay attention and to not do that. And when we were talking about this in the very beginning, what I was feeling too is, if you do know somebody that is not being truthful and not being honest, that can really shift and change when you do call somebody out on it. And sometimes it becomes a habit and people don't even realize that they're doing it. So I think it for whatever reason they're bringing this forward, it can be important to say that. The other thing, is in our own actions and the way that we are using the words that you speak, words that you say, it's important to recognize your own self and what you are saying out to other people and how that can be coming across. And I know we talked about this in the 7 Sacred Flames with the first one, because it was wasn't the first flame that we did talking?
It was in both about the throat chakra. Yeah. About using, basically it's kind of like using your will or using your strength for good, you can use that for good or bad. So use your words for good, because it can be misused. Your words can be misused. Is that what you're thinking of?
It is. Yeah. And because that energy comes back to you. So what you are saying and what you're putting out comes back to you. So just be aware of that. And I know, like I said, these 4 agreements are really, really good, basically, mantras or things that you can use to change your world, to change things in your environment if you don't like the way that they are. If you don't like what you're seeing, start with this, start doing this, start being aware of it. and see, and let us know too if there is something that you catch or something that you notice that you start doing differently, or how you start to notice the energy that you're giving off shifts and changes with other people. I know that when I started really changing years ago, changing what I was saying and what I was doing and how I was talking about different things, it changes the people that you're around. And it's changed, like my loved ones, people that are close to me, I'll hear them say things back to me that I've said. So that's why I love that. That's one of my favorite ones. And being impeccable with your word, say what you mean. And we all have to work on it. I have to work on it. Like Connie said, she has to work on this. This is not to be perfect, but it's to be aware of where can there be change that will help you. Okay, go ahead, Tink.
Yeah, and take one at a time. Don't try to do all of them at once, or otherwise, Rome wasn't built in a day, guys. It was like, take one at a time and maybe try to work on that for a week. Maybe you only think of good thoughts and you only let people know the good that you see in them instead of being critical. I just get chills everywhere. So maybe if you're being critical a lot, it reminds me of, I know there was this thing called Love and Logic when the kids were growing up, which is basically trying to make everything positive and not saying anything where you don't say anything negative, but it's showing them what they're doing right, pointing out all the good things that they're doing right to encourage them to keep doing that behavior. Well, it's the same thing with us as adults too. We all love to hear what we're doing right? So maybe for a week, we just do that. We just say everything that we love about what that person is doing and what they're doing right. Twink, you are amazing. And I can't believe what a good interviewer you are and how beautiful you are and how articulate you are, and you bring such insight and love and glory to everything that we do, and it's fun. How about that?
Thank you so much, Tinkerbell. Thank you. Yes, I love that, and you do too.
Sorry, just as I was talking, when I said maybe you should tell people, she's going like this.
I don't know what she's talking about. I wasn't doing that. Okay, the impeccable.
I don't tell enough how much I appreciate her. That's it. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. These are so much fun.
I appreciate you too. Thank you, Tinkerbell. That was really funny. I know. That was very, very funny. Okay, yes. I love you. Thank you so much. I would not do this without you. Okay?
I like it. Perfect. And great story, by the way. That is so great with your sister and stuff, because it is true. We don't think of it as little white lies, but if people do catch you, there goes your trust. And that sometimes can't ever come back again, because there's always going to be that shadow in the back of their mind. Are they really telling the truth or not? Sometimes the truth hurts, but if you do it in a loving way, then you're able to move past it. And like you said, it can build relationships. It really can. So I love it. Perfect. Which segues into our next one. Don't take anything personally. Well, actually, the communication more of the assumption, but even still taking the things personally, it does segue into that, because if somebody says something to you, don't take it personally. One of two things. It's 9 times out of 10, it's their stuff. If they're saying something negative to you, it's because of what's going on inside of them and they're projecting. But it can also be a mirror for something that you may need to see and change too. You may not like how it's being presented, but it can serve as a mirror sometimes. So it goes back to nothing happens to you, it happens for you. So even if someone is saying something negative, it maybe look within. Is there something within me? Maybe the delivery wasn't how you would like it, but it's not personal. 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that person's stuff of what's going on within that person. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. And all of these are ones that I've had to really, really work on. It's still, I mean, this is a continual thing. Like Connie said, don't take them all at once, but just thinking about them and pondering, how can you shift this? How can you use this in your daily life? I love that. Nothing others do is because of you. Really, it really isn't about you. So, and if there is a question, or if there is something well, I know that's the next one too, don't make assumptions. But if there is something, ask. don't be afraid to ask a question, which is the next one.
That which segues into the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. I love it. Perfect. It's
Don't
amazing.
make assumptions, right? So, and that does happen. I mean, we naturally will be thinking, wow, I wonder, if this person was doing that because of this, or did I say something, or, what did I do? A lot of times we'll internalize things, I think, as earth angels. And even if you're not internalizing it too, it could be how you're processing when you're looking at how people will do things or say things. It's really important for you to take that reflective look and be like, okay, when that's happening, they have something that's going on with them. It really isn't about me. And not taking it personally, wow, that's definitely something that I have had to work on, because ever since I was younger, I internalized everything that happened, and I'm very aware and observant of what's going on with other people and the subtle shifts in energy with them. And so I would always think, wow, they're doing that, and it must be because of something I did. And really having to turn that around and not being aware, just even the awareness that somebody's responding in a way, it isn't about me. It's usually, for the most part, about something that's going on with them. And if there is something that I am taking personally, and it's something that will bother me, then I will stop and I will ask for clarification, which is what it says. Find the courage to ask questions and express what you really want. That, as earth angels, a lot of time it's really hard for us to ask questions. We will assume, here's a good one, that our partner knows what we want. How many times do we do that? Well, they should know that I like X, Y, and Z. They should know that I don't like that, or they should know. I have said that a million times. So, right? Catch yourself and just be aware of when you do that, because a lot of times the other person is not doing it to upset you. It's not intentional. It's because they really aren't thinking about it the way that you're thinking about it. So go ahead, Tink. Story?
Yeah. Girls, they just think differently. Most guys aren't romantic. So you need to tell
Cancel,
them.
clear, delete. Cancel, clear, delete.
Oh, I know.
I don't accept that as my truth.
Oh, but your guy's so romantic. Your guy's so romantic. He's amazing.
He is. Oh my gosh, he's so romantic. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, about guys though, Brad, the first time that we had dated, one of the reasons why I ended it was because, and this was 6 years ago, was because of him having a lot of female friends. Well, he did not communicate to me that we were exclusive. So I didn't know. He would just talk about being with his friend so-and-so, went out on the boat with so-and-so, or spent the day with so-and-so. So I'm thinking he's dating all these women. And I'm like, oh, this just isn't for me. That was part of it. There was more to the story. But I made an assumption. So I never clarified, like, who really is this, or what is this about, or anything like that. And he never communicated with me his intention either. So there was a huge lack of communication, which is the biggest breakdown in any relationship. That's going to be the number one, is communication. It is so important, not only to communicate your needs. Now, you don't want to be a nag, and constantly be, but it is for the importance of it.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that. No, just
Speaking of nags, let me tell you.
Don't take anything personally.
Thank God I don't. Okay, I don't. But I don't say that. And what's hard is being a people pleaser. Okay, because we're people pleasers. So trying to not take things personal is a people pleaser, and to communicate. Because as a people pleaser, you don't want to communicate because you don't want someone to be upset. So you want them to be happy. So you're really not communicating your own needs, and you get stifled down. And then you end up losing yourself. What, she is laughing over there. What are you laughing?
Cracking up. I'm just like thinking this is so funny. I've been meaning to talk to you about this because I got this list over here. I'm just kidding. We get along so good. Seriously, we really do. So both of us are very easygoing. Whatever, we're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're really good about and you've called me out on that. You seemed upset. Are you upset with me? Or, what is going on? Because this is what I'm feeling. She's really good about that, guys. And, and yeah, no, that's awesome. And yeah, it had nothing. I remember that the last one, it was like nothing to do with you. It was everything I had going on inside, but I came across as being, upset or irritated or whatever it was, or, yeah.
I don't even remember, honestly. I don't even remember.
I don't remember what it was, but I just remember how good you were, just really good at that. And the funny thing is I didn't want to talk about it, but because you ended up saying it, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I ended up talking about it anyway. And then I felt 100% better afterwards. It was like, oh my gosh, I just needed to get it out. And it had nothing to do with you, but it was still, I just needed to get something out because I was holding it in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was about a situation that, yeah.
That's awesome though. Okay, cool. Great.
Yeah. So anyway, so don't make assumptions. Be very clear on what it is that you want and what you need. And then if it still doesn't happen, say it again. Hey, I just noticed that this is what I kind of need. And I'm not sure, is there, something going on that I'm not aware of, why it's not happening? Sometimes I know for me, sometimes when I have a lot going on, I just get irritated. And I don't want to communicate because I know that if I say something at the time, it may come across as being mean. And I don't want to do that. So calm down, take a few deep breaths, come back to it later and say, I was irritated earlier because of A, B, and C, and maybe explain why or whatever. What's it? Well, she's laughing again. She keeps laughing at me.
I do. I'm sorry. It's funny. Okay, calm down.
What is it?
If you do breaths, calm down. No, I'm just cracking myself up over here. Okay, it's not you. Seriously, see, it really isn't. I'm just making like jokes to myself. I'm just cracking up over here by myself.
She's so trying. Here's what she's doing. She's giving you guys examples right now. She's testing me. She's testing me to not take this personally. And I'm like, why is she laughing at me? Why is she laughing? What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, like, no, because seriously, like, we really don't. There's like you just said too, they're so easy going, right?
Yeah, even with the time frames, it's like if one person can't get there at the right, like we work, like we get it, and it's, yeah. Mostly it's me saying I'll be 10 more minutes later. I know everyone who knows me is gonna be like, that's a shocker.
But I do the same thing, so it's really good because there are people who would be like, okay, you need to be, like right on time, and I do the same thing. So I think it's a really good give and take, honestly. And then the next one, see, do your best. Always do your best, and we do. We know that about each other. We really, really do do our best and try. If you're trying and you're coming from a space where you're really trying genuinely to do your best, people are going to know that, and they're going to sense that, and they're going to feel that. So go ahead, Tank. Were you going to say something?
No, it just reminds me of my kids. Like one would come home with like a D or something in school or with a test, and they would say, why aren't you upset? I'm like, well, did you do your best? Did you study as much as you could? And do you really feel that you did your best? Yeah, Mom, I did my best. Then I can't argue with that. As long as you know that you did your best, and only you know the answer to that, not me, but you, then I can't argue with that. So that it just brought me back to that kind of that attitude of, because if I'm critical, trust me, there's enough that I do wrong. I'm surprised after my last video of the whole remember the Mrs. Oh geez, now I just drew a blank. Who talking about my scenario with the kids of what one thing I was feeling guilty about.
Oh yeah, yes.
Yeah. So I'm surprised social services has not been at my door already. So I can actually give a good thing that I actually did as a parent. But I do feel that was a good thing to do as far as long as they know they did their best and they see me trying to. And what I used to do before, and I'm really correcting this, is I would try to get so much done in a day that I wouldn't finish one thing, so I leave 10 things undone. I do the yard work and I leave the bag outside because I wanted to get to the next thing. Well, what do I have to do the next day? I have to go back and put the bag away. So I've been really focused on doing my best on one job and trying to get that done and moving on to the next, which is helping me in my everyday life, which is helping me with all my projects and getting those done. What?
Thank
She's.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't know what I did. I think she's actually. Hang on a second. I think she is being impeccable. What's the word about being a vibration or communicating? You're communicating with me. You're telling me what I'm doing right. Go ahead.
That's really cool though, honestly, because actually that is part of your personality where you will leave things undone.
Mhm.
And that's something like, because we all have that part of our sign we have to work on, because I'm Cancer, so I'm really emotional. So I have to really make sure that I'm balancing, and don't make any comments about that. I know that's coming.
Oh, how long
we got,
do we have for this video? We're going
see?
to have fun. I happen to have my list right here. Hang on, it's rolling out.
See, that's what I was trying to say earlier, but I couldn't say it as funny as you just did. Okay, that's what I was trying to talk about. That's my list. Ha ha ha. Okay. I know, truly, but you, honestly, you have been noticing that that's something you wanted to change, and you have been taking steps to do that. And that is that self-awareness, and this is about avoiding self-judgment and not being critical of yourself and doing your best, but noticing, okay, where do I need to shift and change? And how can I do that? And I love the fact that you're taking steps to do that, because like you said, that is going to carry over into other areas of your life, Tank. And because you will overdo and over extend yourself. Like the stuff you think you can get done in one day is like, are you serious? I mean, I don't know what you're thinking. Like on birthdays or like big events, yeah, I'm just going to run here and I'm going to go get this and I'm going to go do that. And I'm like, yeah, that would take me 3 days to coordinate all of that. I have no idea. You think I know you're Superwoman, okay, but we're in human form, all right? And there's somewhat of a limit. But
I don't believe that. Wonder Woman is my hero. Okay, Wonder Woman is my hero. And I am a double fire sign. So it's like you said, it's one of those traits that we come in to overcome to get more balance. So I definitely need to get more. Sorry. Go ahead.
you are though. You are. That's it. That's it. You are.
Oh.
And you always do your best. You really do. You are always trying so hard to do your best. I feel for everybody that's in your life. And you see that so much with the kids with you. You really, really try to make sure that things are good for them and that they're okay and that they're happy. And you really go out of your way. You honestly, you really do. You do that a lot. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, honey. You do too, though. You do too. And I think we're both definitely perfecting this one, if you will, because, and two, part of doing your best is that's going to change from day to day. Like I may be energetic and I find myself now, I may be, like you said before, I may be getting 50 things done in a day and I may be doing them great, but then the next day I may be tired. But my expectation will be to get the next 50 things done. So I have to honor that, because my best that next day, my best may be getting one thing done and resting the rest of the day. That's my best for that day. So take that in account too.
I love that you just said that, because seriously, I think right now a lot of people are really beating themselves up. And this one is really avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Those emotions, those things, they don't serve you and they don't help you. And when you're noticing that, work on the forgiveness of yourself. And how can I make that better? And how can I do my best?
Love it. Yeah, perfect. And regret is a form of self-abuse. And you can't ever change the past. You can't change it. You can only change what's going forward. So use that energy instead of bringing yourself down, thinking about what you've done in the past, knowing that you did your best at that time. Just like your parents did their best at their time. If you maybe you need to forgive your parents, whatever it is, everyone's just doing their best of what their best is at that time. Could everyone make different choices? Sure. But that's where you have to not take personally comes in. There's so much to this, because even the not take it personally, there's so many reasons why things happen. There's karmic reasons. There's things coming in for people, for you to learn your life lessons. So there's a lot of things that it really isn't personal, no matter what it is. It's always for you to be able to grow and evolve, whether it's to not judge someone else, to not judge yourself. Judgment's big, obviously, with a lot of these. So that's one of the key components. Communication and judgment, if I had to break it down, would probably be, because it really, if you're gossiping about someone else, even being impeccable with your word, you're judging someone else.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're talking about someone else, you're judging them or yourself. And being impeccable with your word is your word about yourself. How are you speaking to yourself? What words are you telling yourself? I should have done this better. I should have done that better. I am so stupid. I'm so, heavy, or why can't I do this? All that's not being impeccable with your word. Remember, words have a vibration. They stick and they get stored in that body. So you don't want that. So you want to shift that vibration, change that energy, be impeccable with your word, with it only being about love.
And thoughts are words.
Oh yeah, it's a vibration.
Yeah, when you're thinking those thoughts, and I know for me that was a lot of my depression, because I realized later on I was constantly beating myself up in my head about how stupid I was, or how ugly I was, or how I was so stupid. And it was a constant loop that I would tell myself over and over and over again. And I didn't realize that I was doing it. I wasn't doing it to get attention or to get anything out of it. I really, truly felt that way. And so when I was aware of it and became aware of it, then I was able to really shift it and recognize that it wasn't the truth. It was just a story I was telling myself. And it took time for me to unravel that and to work through it and to shift it and change it. But that you definitely can do it. But that's why I love these, because this really helps to narrow down for yourself what things, if there's something you really want to change in your life, this is a great place to start. It really is. And change happens within you. It's never about someone else. It's always, always, always about you. So change the story you're telling yourself, change the things that you're thinking, you're saying, your behavior, what you're doing. And go ahead, Tink, you were going to say something. I'm sorry.
No, honey, I love that. It's changing you. Because how many times in our coaching do we always hear, well, if so-and-so would change, I could live with him or her, or if she would just do this, then I could love her, or whatever, or vice versa. But what happens is when you start changing you, your situation changes around you. You start to get in the flow, and then things start to work for you. And then things will start manifesting, whether it's maybe that other person does leave and you bring someone who's more of a vibrational match, whatever it is, doesn't matter. Or maybe the other person automatically starts changing because you're changing. You're changing how you're thinking. And they're also bringing up too, anticipation, like doing something or saying something with the anticipation of somebody. I don't know why this is being brought up. It's not really on topic, but it's almost like still being impeccable with your thoughts and your words of only speaking, of being of love. It's almost like change that vibration. If you think someone's going to react a certain way, change it. Think of it before you talk to the person or communicate with the person. Because I think maybe some people may be listening to this go, well, I can't communicate with the other person because in the past it's always gone bad, or they reacted in a negative way. Change that. Before you talk to the person, if you come from a place of love and respect, I just heard the word respect, you can never go wrong. And you're communicating your wants and your needs all at the same time. Mm-hmm. So before you have that conversation, call in Archangel Gabriel, call in your angels of communication. And so that way the other person is able to see and understand the truth of really what you're trying to say, and that you guys can come together in to be whatever it is that you want it to be, or the outcome. Really, it's not about being, I think a lot of people get caught up on being right. It's not about being right. You have to think of, what's my end result? Do I want to be with this person? Does it matter if I'm right or wrong? Or I just want this situation to be resolved? This happened to me, and I can't really say it because I think someone watches the videos, but there was a situation that had happened and I got infuriated at first because I felt very disrespected. It's not about any family or anything like that, but just about someone who I know. And the more I thought about it, I kept getting angry, and I stopped. I said, what is my result that I want? My result is I want this fixed. That's it. I just want it fixed. So it doesn't matter if it was right or wrong. So I let it go. I literally let it go, and I pre-paved it. And I just said, this is what's happening. Is there any way, can we come up with an alternative? And it was beautiful. It worked out beautifully. So just so you know that it can, before if you think someone is going to react a certain way, pre-pave it, think of the situation being resolved and everyone being happy. That's all you have to do. Anyway, go ahead, Twink.
No, that was good. That's it. I love it. Be impeccable with your word and your thoughts. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best.
Yay.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right, everybody, have a magical day and night filled with peace, love, and light, and the 4 agreements.
And fairy dust.
And fairy dust. Yay.